through them. What I wanted to do is spend about 15, 20 minutes talking to you about why having a virtual CDN architecture makes a lot of sense around scale, capacity, and service capability. And I'm just going to go through some quick slides. We actually have a demo that you can go try, but I'm not going to do it now because it's just not enough time to go through all of it. But I'll try to give you a brief overview. So first off, Bob Rizika, I'm the CEO of VidScale. We've been in the business for about 4.5, almost 5 years. I've been in the CDN business almost 15 years. CDN and media and entertainment. So why is it worthwhile sitting here and spending time with me talking about a virtualized CDN environment? If you think about it, we all started with specific hardware, really focused to get the performance. We all then moved to COTS, off-the-shelf hardware, right? Tried to focus on the software. And everyone's moving to the cloud for all the rational reasons. I've sort of gone through them here. The scale, the efficiency, you don't need the capacity 24/7. You have peaks, valleys. You're trying to optimize your network for how you're using the capacity, right? And we just had someone from Amazon talking about how do you handle a 20x spike. So maybe Amazon can handle your capacity, but maybe you need Amazon and 3 other guys depending on which region you want to handle that spike in, depending on what the cost is. So thinking about taking a CDN and virtualizing it is a natural progression for everyone in this industry. I don't know how many of these shows I've been to where, whether it's Cisco or some other company talks about in 2 years, in 3 years, we're going to have a virtualized solution to our technology. So when VidScale was started 4.5 years ago, we said we're going to do 2 things. We're going to develop a software solution platform that people can use on their infrastructure if they want. And at the same time, from the get-go, we're going to develop a virtualized version of that solution. So that's what we've been doing for the last 4.5 years, and that's when you go take our test drive, you can try that. So all the reasons here why you want the virtualized solution. I'm going to just show you this quick. When you go take our test drive, you essentially see a user interface like this, and I'll talk to you more about it after. But before I do that, a little bit more about our company. As I said, just about 5 years old. We're profitable. We actually don't sell to end customers. We're an OEM supplier. And what that means is, although we have almost 40 employees, almost all of them are focused on development. We don't have to worry about marketing. We don't have to worry about sales, right? We really focus on where's the market going, how do you get there fastest, how do you do this virtualization, how do you build a platform so instead of delivering point solutions, you have an end-to-end solution. That's our focus. Everyone in the company has been in this space 2 or 3 times at 2 or 3 CDN companies before. And in general, they've developed what we're doing once or twice before, so they've made the mistakes. So in this industry, we're probably the most recent entrant to the space, and we got to start with just a clean sheet of paper and do it the way you do it in today's environment, understanding where the market's going today. So, we really understand the space, we understand where the technology is going. And what we did is we said, we don't want to just build an origin solution, we don't want to just be an edge, we don't want to just be CDN or just transparent caching. We think that you need to develop a platform at the base layer that includes origin, edge, micro edge, and then you need to be able to put services across that platform and do an end-to-end delivery. So if you look at the industry, 10 years ago, that might have been 20 different companies. 5 to 7 years ago, that was 6 to 7 companies that offer that end-to-end solution. Our goal was to be the first company from an OEM perspective that did the end-to-end solution, not just for managed content, but for OTT content as well. And once you do that, you can start to put all sorts of services on top of that platform. And again, if you want slides, they're available afterwards, so don't worry about taking notes. So if you take a look at that, we started with the blue section on the bottom there, the media delivery platform. And then we built out our edge, and we built out our micro edge, or the RAN or Wi-Fi edge, and then we went back and started building out our origin side of the business. And as you do that, if you look at the purple Media Warp edge here, you'll see what you'd expect, managed CDN and transparent caching. But then you start to see the types of services you want to layer on top of that, right? Multi-screen delivery, web page optimization, WAN acceleration, and then you start to get into really interesting technologies that you can bring in to really help generate revenue for your end customer. Because once you have the platform and you can do the end-to-end solution, and it works at a telco grade level, there's a whole series of services and interesting things you can do on that platform. So we built that out, and you'll see on the bottom in the black, it talks about, look, I don't know if our customers are going to use it on COTS hardware, their specific focused equipment, or private or public clouds, right? I think over time, everyone's going to go there. I don't know if it's this year, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, but my goal is that we can offer that now, right? And we wanted to be the first to go do that. So this is sort of what our value proposition or our framework, underlying framework, looks like. And then we build everything on top of that. If you go to our virtualization side of the business, this is how you'd enter, right, the virtualized solution. And what you'll see on the left are 3 key things. First, if you want to build out a virtualized CDN, what do you have to do? Well, you have to build out your hardware data centers or POPs locations. So you can do it on private cloud, you can do it on public cloud. Today we host this on like 4 or 5 different cloud providers, right? And we don't care who the cloud provider is. You should be able to put it on anyone, you should be able to scale it up. So on the left-hand side there, the Virtual-CDN. When you click behind that screen, what you do is you pick the regional or global data centers. You say how much hardware you want to apply virtually, how much RAM, cores, storage. You decide what type of scalability do you want. You say, do I want regional? Do I want it global? Do I want extra performance in a location? You pick all that, and then you hit create. And actually, in a matter of minutes, it creates that global or local CDN virtualized solution for you. And it does that today, by the way. So once you have your CDN, the question is, so how do you make money, right? Because ultimately, that's what we all care about. So if you go back a couple slides to these services, if you can look in the purple, what you can then do is go to our edge nodes, and you can put all those services across that virtualized CDN. So if you think about the market today, a lot of the packaging, a lot of the ad insertion, a lot of things take place at the origin. But as you go to 4K and as you go to different models that are coming into play, you need to move those services from the origin to the edge to the micro edge, right? And so that's what you can do with our solution. You can move it from the end-to-end solution. And that's that second box there, the edge node services. Once you do that, you can go to what we call the micro edge, or here it's listed as RAN or Wi-Fi edge is what it should say. RAN or Wi-Fi edge, because I don't know if you're in a mobile network or a fixed network, right? And you can take those same services and bring them out to the micro edge. So for us, from a CDN perspective, it's all about you build out your data centers, you build out your services, and then you have the ability to enable that to your end customers in whatever format you want, right? Because every customer is going to want a different slice. It doesn't have to be that customers come in and you say, look, it's this package, this or this. You can allow a customer to mix and match, and that's the whole point of cloud. I'm only going to buy what I want, only in the region that I want, and I'm going to use it exactly the way I want, and I'm going to scale it up and down so I optimize my spend to match my revenue. So that's what we do. I'd love to show you the demo of it, but we don't exactly have time here today. If you dive a little bit deeper, this is sort of our back end of how we built that solution out. So we start with physical and virtual infrastructure, as I said. We have a couple different things because it does get sort of complicated on how you virtualize that technology, how you scale it out at speed. As an example, when we go scale our virtual CDN, it turns on all those data centers, right? And you could pick, I've done it with 40 different data centers on a global basis in about 4.5 minutes. So if you think about building out a CDN today, 9, 18 months, that's how long it might take, $20 to $80 million of infrastructure to go do that. But I can sit down, and you guys can sign up and try a test drive after. I can sit down in 5 minutes, and I can build that same CDN out in about 5 minutes. And that's what you see, the Cloud Storm, the Cloud Controller, and Cloud Insight. You then have a series of APIs, and that's because we have our services that sit on top of that. And you don't just have to use our services, because ultimately we have a vision of where the market's going, how the virtualized CDN works, and what services you're going to want. But anytime you engage with the customer, he's going to say, well, I have these other services that I already have, and I want to put them on your infrastructure. How do I do that? So you have to have an API infrastructure to integrate them in. And you have to have an ability to easily add new services, because ultimately our customers don't know where the market is actually going to be in a year or 2 years. And our telco customers or fixed customers are going to come to us and say, well, I have a new opportunity I want to go after. How do I do this new service? And by the way, it has to be virtualized. So we've built a really robust plug-in architecture that allows you to go do that into our infrastructure. So I invite you all to go to this URL. You can sign up, and you can take our solution for a test drive. I think you have to sign up. We get an email, and then we validate you and let you go try it after that. What time did I do here? I still have 4 minutes for people. Any questions? No questions? Okay. I was under time. Thank you very much.